Hip-hop, jam, nitty-gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot.
Welcome to Who's Hot with your host, Wil Chung.
Hello and thank you for downloading the latest UKOCR podcast. My name is Wil Chung and this is Who's Hot. Today we are previewing the Nuclear Challenge Cup, which is the second race of the UKOCR series. As always, I am with my two co-hosts, Chris Shipley. How are you doing? Hello.
Yeah, Will, got through that one, didn't you?
Cheeky. How's your weekend been? Because it was only a few days ago since we last talked.
Yeah, it's been all right. I went and did a bit of laser quest over the weekend and kicked a load of 10-year-olds' asses at it. So
nice. Is that training for the 3K?
No, it's training for laser quest. No, just a bit of fun, really.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
And we have our second co-host, the one and only Becky. Becky, I saw you a couple of days ago. We went out for pizza. How are you?
Yes, we had delightful pizza in Sweden. I also had delightful pizza in Copenhagen. That's what it's all about, this international racing. How many pizzas can you eat?
It's all about the food, of course.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be talking about toughest because we're on the podcast with the guys tomorrow, yesterday or whenever it's going to be, talking about toughest and toughest weekend. We are here to talk about Nuclear Challenge Cup. Nuclear Challenge Cup, Sunday the 14th of May. Just had the time, so we got to be running at 8:15 in the morning. 12K plus whatever the 8 challenge obstacles are. Becky, straight over to you. Let's talk very quickly about Challenge Cup, the OCR trials, national trials, and everything that incorporates Challenge Cup.
Okay, here we go. So this is pretty exciting, I think, partly because it's my favorite race of the year. But with that aside, this is the first time that Challenge Cup is going to be in May. And, historically, people have viewed Challenge Cup as like one of the most challenging races, obviously clues in the name, most technical, a good mix of a lot of different kind of requirements in OCR, but something that's kind of held back people from taking part often has been the fact that it was in November and it was a bit cold and it's hard to use your hands at that time of year, and that's fair enough. So I'm really excited that this kind of challenging event is moved to May on the rush weekends, and we saw in the series race last year just how competitive that was, just being the rush event, it being part of the UKOCR series. So now that we've added the challenge of the Challenge Cup and added the OCRWC qualification plus the new OCR World Championships with FISO or World Obstacle as a national trials selection event for the long distance event, I think it's going to be probably the most exciting race of the year, other than maybe our own national championships in October.
Yes, it's a goodie. Chris, very quickly, let's go over to you. What are your thoughts about nuclear races, Nuclear Challenge Cup? It must be high up in yours after nuts, no doubt.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, like Becky said, it's so good now to have it outside of November. Last year I missed out on it because it was just too late in the year, and my racing season had finished by then. And I think that's the way that is with a lot of other races. A lot of people just don't want to race cold weather anymore. It's, especially when it's a competitive race like the Challenge Cup is. You want to be racing hard and not freezing your bollocks off, really.
Yeah. I'm just really glad that it's kind of bringing everyone together again, both for the series and soon after Spartan, whilst everyone's still got the hype going, and also for the selection. We're going to be selecting, or the selection committee for British Obstacle Sports will be selecting automatically the top 3 people who place in the elite and in each age group. So you'll be able to actually book your ticket to the World Championships in Belgium in September by coming in the top 3 in your category. Yeah. And of course, it's a great way to show your form if you don't make the top 3. There will be 5 people selected for each category. So those other 2 places are going to be done on kind of racing results and form. And this is a great place to kind of show that.
Yeah, a lot of people are very excited about that.
It is really exciting. And for us, of course, the UKOCR series is probably the most important and the most exciting. But as you just mentioned, Becky, this comes thick and fast straight after Spartan Super. And we're getting into the second one, and then we've got a few weeks before we go into the third race, which we'll cover much later on. But people have already got some scores on the doors. Chris, what are your thoughts about getting some points up early on?
Point wise, I have no idea how it works out, to be honest with you. So I just try and see where I come at the end of it and just look on the board. Becky's gonna have to tell you how the points work out, because all my friends who know me know I can't actually count very well. So yeah, all I know is you do a race, you win some points, and you have to find out where you are on that. And if you're at the top or in the middle, that's where you are. So I'll give it to you, Becky, because I ain't got a clue.
Is it gonna?
I was going to say, Chris. Sorry, Becky. Just having some points on the board so early is got to be a good positive confidence.
Just having points. Right? Just having points is good.
Definitely.
Actually, whilst we're there, let's talk about the points, because of course, the points in the UK OCR series are based on your position in the race, not necessarily your position compared to other UK OCR series. To other people that may be within that particular race. So of course, we know that we had first and second that were not in the UK OCR series, but those scores don't roll down. Hold on, I'm just now going on whilst I'm just trying to look here and find the mail. So first at the moment is Jason Brunnock, Nuclear Phoenix, 415 points. Morgan Maxwell, Rumble Racing, 400 points. Carl Bell, third, 385. Jack Carpenter, Field Fit, 372. Dato Scanella, Nuclear Phoenix, 360. In terms of the female, we've got Rachel Decker, Team Grit, 500 points. Andrea Berquez, OMRM, 465. Alan Wales, OPP Warriors, 435 points. Federico Di Caria, Nuclear Phoenix, 415 points. And then fifth place, JC Lloyd at Primal Fitness, 400 points. I'll go very quickly to the team standings, which have just been updated, I've been told. Nuclear Phoenix in first place, 3,489 points. Primal Fitness in second, 3,290. Team Grit, 2,945. PT Barn Races in fourth place, 2,560. Rumble Racing in fifth place at the moment, 2,471. All to play for. We've still got seven races to go, but having some points on the board, and especially with the team races, it's then all about the depth of your team. Hey, Becky.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's 10 people to count for each team, but each person can only be scored twice. So your top two scores. So I'd be looking to improve my score, for example, to help my team get more points. So it's about depth as well as quality.
Yes. And I guess that's a really nice segue as Nuclear Phoenix. We are going to the nuclear races again, Sunday, the 14th of May. I've seen the video already. I know the rule book is coming out quite soon. Everyone knows about the race. It's all 12K, relatively flat. But hey, Becky, let's go over to you. Let's talk about obstacles. Let's talk about the terrain. Let's talk about possibly weather as well, actually, and whether that makes any difference. We've also, we've talked about that it's rush weekend rather than fallout weekend. But let's get into the detail. Yeah,
cool. So I mean, every year, even if you run nuclear races each year, it does change, and I really like that about the venue. They spend time just diverting the course a little bit. You run in familiar locations but in a different order with different obstacles at different points, so it still feels fresh every time, at which means the obstacles are going to be more challenging depending on where they are in the course. For example, last year Challenge Cup was actually 2 laps, so we ended up doing the Challenge Cup obstacles twice, and they were noticeably more difficult on the second lap. This time we won't have that challenge. We're doing 1 lap, 12K, with an extra with a bit that's extra for those Challenge Cup obstacles. So the requirement is that you complete all the mandatory obstacles, so everything that's not a specific Challenge Cup penalty obstacle. So you have to complete everything else. You can have multiple attempts at those, just a wall or whatever, in order to maintain or keep your bib. So everyone will be wearing the bibs that Nuclear provide, to show that you're aiming for qualification, that you're trying to follow the rules and everything. So you have to complete all those, and then the other Challenge Cup obstacles, of which I think there's 10, up to 10, 8 to 10. How many are on that video? We can go through them one at a time in a second. Yeah, in the email it said 10. And they are single attempt only. So that's going to help us prepare for Europeans and for Worlds. That's why this is one of the races chosen for the trials events. single attempt, and if you fail it, unfortunately you have to do a penalty, which sounds like there's mostly rec bag carries, and they're not going to be short. They're going to be a couple of minutes, and through the muddy fields of Nuclear, especially if it's been raining all week, that will be tough. I spent some time trying to practice picking up rec bags because that's the bit that I find hardest, actually getting it onto my shoulders. But the main aim is to avoid that totally and just complete the obstacles. But like you say, the weather, as you saw at Nuts, so I listened to your podcast, guys, that can make a big difference. And as we know, the hashtag for Nuclear races is love mud. So even if it's not muddy generally in the week, they like to make it muddy. You know, they've got Ebenezer, which is specifically made to create mud, and this time it's on Sunday. We've last year the serious race was on the Saturday, and I know a lot of people are keen for Saturday races, but on Saturday this year is Oblivion, which means there'll be people doing a lot of laps the day before, churning up the course, which might get rid of some of those ruts, which, you know, are a bit dodgy for ankles, and everyone's had a history of ankle injuries pretty much. So it might be a bit kind of churned up, which could be slower, but it might be smoother. I'm not sure.
I've just had a look at the weather for Sunday, and it says 70% showers. So,
yes!
So it's not looking brilliant, but there might be a spot of sunshine amongst the downpours.
Yeah, if things are already wet, it doesn't matter whether it's actually raining or not.
I don't know. We've seen that video. I think some of them obstacles is going to be quite tricky with a bit of a downpour.
Yeah. But even if it stops raining, if it has been raining in the morning, it's still going to be the same. So yeah, any bit of water is going to make it definitely challenging. And of course, we've got the death slide in it, so we will be swimming, and aquaphobia is in it as well. And there's a bit of a river run, but not very long one this time, I don't think. So we're going to be wet, and that is the thing that sometimes people are put off by this event. But it's safe. There's life jackets. It's tested. And it's fun too. You just got to embrace it.
Fun zone. Oh no, that's not the wet zone.
Oh, we'll get onto the
get onto the fun zone. We'll go to
the lake zone, exactly. And if you're spectating, usually you can get on one of the tractors or the buses, and they'll take you down to the lake zone. There's music. There's sometimes a little coffee and pizza place literally by the lake. So if you're new to this and you want to see what's going on down there, then you can hop on the tractor usually and go watch at the lake zone.
There's usually quite a good little vibe when you run past there, isn't it, Becky?
It is, yeah.
It gives you a bit of a boost, doesn't it?
That's why I like to do my my
guns out.
Shapes.
Oh,
I'll go for the straddle usually.
The straddle.
Can't contain myself. And then the power plunge, which is my favorite obstacle of Nuclear races, probably.
Is that the one the zip wire?
Exactly.
That's quality.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try and get as far as you can. Everyone knows that. It's not a secret.
Wow, they didn't do that at the World Championships.
I know. Well, all the British people did, but not into Webster.
And are they having the pulleys already attached for when you get there, like they did before?
So you still have to go and collect one.
And then they've already got it attached.
They've already got one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for racing. Keeps things.
It will be like that for the race. Yeah, but there's things around there like Kingfisher, which we haven't used in a while.
We haven't used it properly. I mean, we've been on it a few times, but we've never done it the way that it was originally intended to, which used to be really good.
Yeah.
So what's Kingfisher?
It's like the bent over monkey bars.
They're quite big gaps between them. You have to really pull up, and it's a bit kind of because it's on it's got
a bit of a bounce to it.
Yeah, like on the slack lines. The slack line's been replaced with a net in that area as well, and you've got the pontoons with the rope traverse where you kind of can just run across the pontoons, but you don't want to fall in. And there's also that other, if you've been training at Wild Forest, there's that other like kind of longer rig down there, which you can see on the video for the Challenge Cup obstacles, which has a series of ropes, rings, and that kind of go down and up, including a nunchuck at the bottom. That's one of the Challenge Cup obstacles, which likely goes into the spinning monkeys, which is also a really fun obstacle.
Yeah, if you check out a few Savage races on the internet, then there's a few really good techniques that some of the pros over there do that hopefully a few of us will get a chance to practice when we get down there. So
sometimes that bit of the course ends up getting changed around in terms of the order that you do things in. So I would just recommend that people who have been there before don't assume which way they're going. just to definitely follow the tape, because sometimes you go in and out there in different directions. You might go through the tunnels and then up the slip wall, but the spinning monkeys might be at a totally different time in the race. So definitely pay attention to the marshals and the tape in that section, because it could be a bit hectic later on with any of the 7K runners starting as well, because there will be a course split, massive sign, and I mean massive, but it's easy to have race brain.
We've all been there.
So don't follow the 7K course. Yeah, it might be near the edge of Wild Forest, I think. Yeah. So should we go through the Challenge Cup obstacles? Do you want to go in order of the video, which I don't remember? So there's 2 obstacles on the gorilla bars. The gorilla bars is the super long monkey bars. So one of them is longer, and it featured in the Challenge Cup last year, where you come through the gap and then there's 4 lanes, so 2 to your left, 2 to your right. They're all the same, and then you come back to meet in the middle afterwards, so it's fair whichever one you choose, even no matter which way you're running afterwards. So pick any of those 4 lanes. Make sure you start behind the tape, and you've got to traverse along a bar. Then they've got these really fat ropes. So if you haven't been to Wild Forest to train before, and you might not have touched one of those fat ropes before, they are quite challenging. You really have to be careful on those, especially when you're doing the transitions, because that one you have to kind of work your way up a bit and onto the traverse rope. And you have to make sure you don't touch the side poles. It's very tempting to just, help them to swing you past, but make sure you're only using the attachments. And you actually end up going up onto the monkey bars. There's a little ring to help you get that high. And it's not over yet. You've got to go along the monkey bars before you hit the tape on the next monkey bar. And then you've got to traverse onto the green netting. Have you been on that, Chris?
They've used that. They used that a couple of years ago at the Challenge Cup, didn't they?
Yeah.
When we had the multiple laps. And it's not very nice. And it's going to be a bit tricky. And there's only 2 lanes on that section.
Well, there's 4 lanes.
Is that they have got 4 lanes on it?
Yeah.
Oh, because you go down
direction.
Oh, that's all right then. I was a bit concerned about that, but yeah, those nets.
You could kick them off whilst you're getting past them.
Well, you could probably have 3 people on the obstacle at once.
Yeah,
it's quite long.
Yeah, I think that might. Well, let's hope for the best, but yeah, that's a horrible net. It's not a good net.
It's horrible. It's very thin on your finger as well. Yeah, it hurts, and it's long.
I'm just looking at Laura's doing really well on this, and. She's in boots and it's nice and dry. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But even just kind of no pressure, just doing it for the video, that looks tough. That's a tough, long obstacle there.
And it's right next to another obstacle as well, so there won't be much recovery.
Yeah, I think the rope there is going to be the tricky part of that. I mean, coming along from the bars into that rope, that's the first hanging rope. That's going to be the tricky bit with the transition, turning around from which way you're facing. I think that's going to be the key on that one. You
really have to not waste time on that one because it is long. And holding on to those thin nets, even if you can put your arms through, like it's very easy to get the lugs of your shoes caught onto that green net. And even once you've hit the bell at the end, you still got to climb off it without falling off and getting your foot caught or something. So you really have to concentrate right till the end on that one, because that would be a long penalty to do after a very long obstacle if you lose it in the heartbreak zone at the end. But you definitely need to, everyone needs to try their hardest on every obstacle until they can't do it any longer.
Hopefully these penalties really do reflect, and it really gives people the
motivation.
The motivation to really go for the obstacles, because you don't want to be taking the penalties. I mean, I think there's a good chance that a single slip up could bring out the penalty, but it's going to really make the race change places a lot.
Fortunately, if you haven't been there recently, those ditches have been filled in, those horrible ditches there, and the ropes the nets that we used to crawl under, including in that horrible World Championships with the
where John had to break it all up.
Yeah,
nasty.
So they're not in it, but instead we've got another technical obstacle right next door. So still on the gorilla bars, and they've just replaced the attachments. So it's brand new.
The wheels one, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like a coat hanger to 2 wheels. Again, another fat rope onto a short rope. So people who had experienced them in Spartan, we got another opportunity to overcome your short ropes.
It looks really low as well. It looks really low to the ground. I know.
Oh, that'll be a problem for you. Yeah.
Yeah, the slightly tall guy.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, because you've got them wheels, it's really hard to get the momentum when it's low. You can't swing as well as you can. It's all right if you're really short, but.
So yeah, it's challenging, and again, single attempt. So you've got to make it count first time as soon as you take your feet off the floor. and you end up on the platform for that one, on the kind of timber. So it's not as simple as like just landing on the floor. You have to really lift your legs up too and get through it. Yeah.
And that's straight after the net, so you are going to be fatigued.
Yeah, and likely after that will be the low rig.
Yeah.
So you could be kind of getting wet and then coming through into that, to the balance being an obstacle that we've also seen on the video, which is pretty long.
Disgusting. How long is that? I mean,
and it tips.
Yeah,
and it's wooden, and you've got wet feet. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be nice that it's not going to be windy this time, but
I remember that was horrible.
Do you remember that one? Oh, that was horrible. That was the worst race ever. But I mean, you're racing flat out, and you come into a balance being that long. You really got to like control your breathing, calm down, and not try and overtake people on it, because I think if they say one attempt on that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So one attempt on that, and then straight into the rep bag. You've got to just take your time on that. Could be a good chance to take a good breather, get a bit of air back into you, and then go again when you come off it. Yeah. But coming into that gas, I think that's going to catch a lot of people out. It always does. Always catches people out.
I've just watched that bit in the video again. I think it was six different lengths, and obviously you're going left and right on some. There was the bit of the seesaw. There's the logs that are slightly different heights. So you say it's going to catch some people out. You've got to get your heart rate down. But 6 lengths, you're probably looking at 3 meters each, so 20 meters of balance to try and just keep going all that way. That's a lot. That's a hell of a lot.
I don't know about you guys as well, but I find sometimes if I've got a really heavy treaded trainer on, like an IROC, I find that's really, really difficult to balance on. So
the lugs are harder, especially on wood.
Yeah, it really makes a difference. So shoe choice is going to be a decision.
Yeah, I think we will be wet then as well. So if we come out of the
you could be picking up mud with you. Yeah, especially over those nuclear fields. It's quite clayey.
And then so if we end up doing that, then the long one, then the short low one into the actual low rig, which
also looks disgusting.
The video, there's not a lot of techniques you can use. A lot of races recently, especially the low rigs that have been including at Nuts, at Rumble, in different locations in the UK, people have been using extra special techniques, putting their heels in the rings, using the figure of 4 technique, which you could probably still do here, but you can't do all of those things, and it might take longer. So I think it really is just kind of core strength and lock off strength and timing and staying calm. That's going to actually get you through this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, on the video, she did say you had to use all the attachments, which I'd like to. Is that actually? We'll have to try and find out. So hopefully that's not the case. Because
which one would you miss? Are you going to share?
Yeah, looking on the video, it'd be the first T-bar. So you go from the first ring, skip the next one, and then possibly go into missed it because it had cannonballs, didn't it?
The ball, yeah.
Yeah, so probably want to miss out the ball, especially if it's wet. The
balls will be the hard bit. Yeah,
balls are never good to grab when they're wet.
Not even big ones. Yeah.
No.
So I think if it's still raining a little bit, that ball will stay in. If it's torrential rain, maybe it'll have to think nicely on us, but it was probably going to look like that. Yeah. And then of course you've got to make sure you use your hands on the bell.
Yeah, and again they've got another one of them ropes. Those ropes are tricky. The way that they position them is not a nice way, but if we're going to be training for Euros, it's a good thing to be going against. But I think that's going to catch a lot of people out. I think there's going to be a few penalties on that, even by the best in the world.
So the way that this is designed, it's the Challenge Cup is kind of added on. All these obstacles are just an extra bit added onto the rush course, essentially, which means they are going to be back to back. Like these ones are going to be close together, which means we're probably then going to next go into the rope climb that was on the video as well, and the high rig, which is basically a series of rings spaced quite far apart, and that's got a hoist penalty attached to it. And those hoists I find them quite hard if it's muddy.
Yeah, they haven't got a pulley, have they? They're just over a bar, which has the extra friction.
Yeah, and then you're likely to go on to like Phoenix Rising, aka Stairway to Heaven. It does have a bar across the top, which makes it a bit easier, but it's still a lot of effort, right? And easy to slip. Some
of them bars move. So just take care on that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a big gap.
Yeah. And the coat hanger's just been rearranged. So if you've been training there, like the one that's near the car park in Wild Forest, which looks like a weaver structure, but it's got attachments hanging off of it. it now looks like on the video, kind of almost like Valkyrie, but not as steep. A series of rings that go upwards, and then that kind of coat hangery one, is it? And then a traverse bar type thing. But if you're on there at the same time as somebody else, it could be a bit tricky.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Yes. Is that all 10, Becky?
Well, there's the one down by the one that we mentioned slightly earlier with the nunchuck that goes down and up.
Yeah, the first rig.
Robin's Walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't look too bad. That looks like it's got a lot of momentum. So
yeah.
Last one on the video was Monty as well.
Monty.
That looks soul destroying.
I love Monty.
It's hard work, hey?
Yeah.
You talked about it in the nuts one, weren't you?
Yeah, it's a very good obstacle. It's simple. It's fatiguing. Catches a lot of people out because they just get gassed. And I think there's a lot of ways you can get over it without using as much energy as
the bouncy people.
Yeah, that's right. So it should be good. It's a good one and it looks like there's loads of lanes after it. Yeah.
So there's a few extra kind of obstacles like carries. They've got the missile carry, which I find pretty difficult. The dirty handbag carry, I've broken my finger on that before and lost a nail. That was horrible. And maybe wreck bag carry near the start probably.
Have they got the? Do you reckon they'll have the one where you pull the chain into the little ditch? I love that. I quite like that one. You can really use your body weight to pull it in. It's great.
That ruined my first challenge cup, where I was at the front with Andrea. Then I came 11th.
That's a good. Wow.
That was on the Mudstacle video. Oh, well, we seem to have lost Becky at the ditch. Couldn't get out. And maybe another. Like that pole, like the isotope drag, maybe an Atlas stone carry, perhaps. And
then I'm sure they'll have a few of the other little fiddly nuclear obstacles that are
there.
Which
like the minions.
Minions is a really difficult obstacle. Like, nuclear has this thing about really simple looking obstacles that just seem to catch you out. I think they just mess with your body movement, don't they? You come into it, you jump on it, you think you're going to go one way, and because they're a bit weird, you end up going completely the opposite way that you think you're going. So
and there'll be, of course, some slides, some kind of wet feet situations, but that's good fun, I think.
So for the challenge obstacles, for listeners that haven't seen the video, but they can go onto Facebook, go to the Wild Forest page. The videos there, all by Laura Roberts. 7 minutes 30. It's probably worth watching a couple of times just to see the technique that Laura has done across that, as we just mentioned, in Ugg boots. Weather's really good, but at least it gives you an idea of what to do and exactly what not to do, because that, as you guys said, that low rig, that's definitely going to be a lot of core across some of that. You can't do anything to kind of get your legs on anything.
Yeah,
you just got to keep your core. Yeah.
I think it's worth checking out a few of the old school Mudstacle videos as well, just to get an idea of what else might be there at Nuclear. So.
Yeah, the rulebook will have a lot of them listed. The number that it says on the email might be larger because it might count every single tree stump that you have to jump over. So don't get confused if the email says 160, but then the rulebook says 61. And then the challenge cup says 10. Okay, so there is a mixture of different types of things.
Where will we find this rulebook, Becky?
It'll be published by British Obstacle Sports and Nuclear.
So they'll find us.
It will find you.
It will find us
on the internet and in WhatsApp groups that we shared as well.
I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to get it out on UKOCR. I know this episode will go out on Thursday, so rulebook's probably going to be out by then. But follow UKOCR. I'm sure we'll get a link to the rulebook just in case. Chris, let's go over to you. And we mentioned it very much in passing. It's a Sunday race. Lots of people go to Nuclear. Saturday, you'll have a few thousand going past. You've got the Oblivion guys that are doing several laps. What's that going to do to the course itself? It's not going to be fresh virgin mud that you elites generally get to, when you're going out in the first wave.
No, that's going to be churned up. That's not going to be nice, especially over them fields. It's going to be like a tractor's gone over there and ploughed it all. So, it's going to be sticky. It's going to be hard to run. It's going to be like putting clay boots on. So, yeah, it's not going to be nice.
Which shoes are you going to wear?
I'm probably going to wear the VJ Sparks. They're new, so the grip's still pretty good, and they're nice and light. So any mud will also go. I bet you're wearing Adidas.
Of course. Yes.
Good
And that's
shit.
pro soft ground ones, SG, yes.
Nice.
But yeah, there's
anything less.
the last couple of obstacles do require a bit of grip on your feet. They've got that ramp one, the small ramp, but it's kind of uphill. And they took the ropes away from it on Challenge Cup last year, and I was sort of thinking, oh, they'd still be there. So when I got there, I was like, oh my god, I need to really put all my all into this, because it was quite a close race. Well, not that one. It can be quite a close race.
And that's towards the end, isn't it? With the
and then the Travelator.
Oh, they haven't done the Travelator yet.
No, you get to finish with the Travelator.
What's the one where you jump from the bar to bar? I keep forgetting the name.
Oh, Isotope. Yeah, like
no,
Dragon's
not
Back.
that one. The Dragon's Back. Yeah,
yeah, it's called
Dragon's
Isotope.
Back. Yeah, that section's really good. I can't wait for that bit. Yeah, and that's where they got the Travelator.
Yeah, right to the finish line.
Oh, great fun.
Yeah. It's a good Travelator.
Do they speed it up for Challenge Cup runners, or is it the same speed for everybody? Do you know?
I think they can have 2 speeds, so maybe.
Does that not get like covered in mud and then?
You'd think so, yeah, but it seemed to do okay because I saw it at Blackout and Blast, which is a lap race, and it was covered in foam as well, and it was still working fine in the dark, and it was all good all night. So, yeah,
I might pop down to the local shopping centre and just start walking up the escalator backwards for a little bit of practice, or like the supermarket because they got those ones, haven't they? The trolleys on.
Yeah, and it's quite wide. Like it's got the Travelator strip, but then it's got a big wooden bit, so I'm sure if it was not working you could still run up at it. Yeah,
good fun. Be like the ending of Gladiators.
That's coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, the deadline's gone.
Yeah, I know a few people who've gone out for trials for it. Well, I know one person. I don't know a few people. Because Zach, he's gone out there. Apparently he got his ass beaten up.
Wow.
Any more thoughts about the obstacles or about the course, Becky, Chris? Otherwise we'll go straight on to last year's results.
Just one thing based on last year. There are occasions where sometimes, last week we were talking about consistency between races. Sometimes, for whatever reason, the person at the front ends up not doing the same thing as it was meant to be done. I think this happened on the Weaver with the hanger thing at Rush last year. Whether you go over it or under it, or can do both, or what you can touch. Trying to kind of make sure that makes sense in the rule book, but sometimes it gets lost at some point. So as long as it is consistent and fair, I think that's the main aim. So if the marshal is telling you to do one thing and that's what they've told everyone else, then you can probably stick to that. But hopefully that's the same as the rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone read the rules and everyone do what it says in the rules, and the marshals will support that, and the marshals will support that, and then it will be perfect.
Yeah.
I better read the rules.
You better.
I better read the rules.
First time for everything, Chris, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Or listen to the marshals as you're going.
I tell you, they should do an audiobook version, shouldn't they?
Are you going to record it?
I was about to say, who would we get to read it out?
So, for example, the Weaver up and over, which is the one that was in question last year, I think. You go over the Weaver, so you're not weavering it, you're going over the Weaver, and then under the ladder that's kind of attached to it afterwards, without touching like the infrastructure. So you're touching like the handles, like I think they're painted a different color, and there's a rope on the floor at the end which you probably have to cross to complete it, which might not be really, really clear because it's been in the ground for a long time. But that's what you're all meant to be doing.
I bet there's some real boffins out there that can change the interpretation to that anything. I mean?
Follow the marshal then.
Yeah, call the marshals.
So I'll quickly just talk about last year's results. So this is not the Challenge Cup. This is Rush Weekend on the Saturday. As Becky said, it was really tight race, especially in the men's. James Burton first place, 1 minute 8:37. Scott Barker, 1 minute 8:39, so only a couple of seconds in it. Dave Rogers third, 1 minute 9 flat. Barry Buchanan, 1 minute 10:01. Ryan Ibbotson, 1 hour 11:13. Gavin Hogarth, 1:13:22. Jason Burgess, Fergal Keeney. Oh, sorry. Shout out to Fergal Keeney as well. He is our stats man. He gets our points together for us. So, Fergie, thank you very much for all of your hard work. I know you're kind of behind the scenes and not really, we don't really talk about it. We're the front people. We're the ones that get all the accolade. But Fergie, thank you very much for all of your hard work. So Fergie in 8th, Lee Jackson in 9th, and Ramunas in 10th. So again, really closer towards the top there. Female top 10, we had Nikki Johnson, 1:27:58. Andrea Berquez, 1:28:33. Federico Di Caria, 1:32.11, Tamar Barkley, 1:33.48, Louise Ferriman, 1:36.05, and April Page, Laura Haywood, Nicola Gillespie, Yasmin McGahan, and Karen Macquarie in 10th place. So again, really, really tight, which takes us on to the Who's Hot section of the race. Now we've been able to find a bit of a start list, and the caveat is that we're a bit early, so we know that there's going to be a few people that will jump in quite late, and we've already seen some names that aren't on there, but we think they're going to be on there. Becky, let's go over to you. We've got a bit of a start list. There's some names that we think are going to join in. First of all, who do you think is going to be kind of there? Who do you think your top picks are going to be? Maybe you kind of top three in any particular order?
Yeah, so in the women's field, we have about 30 athletes, which is, really, really great. Strong. And I think a lot of those people are strong. It is the whole field is about 102 currently, I think. So it's like 29%. So it's still not still quite a small proportion of the whole field. But all of these people are very familiar names, and a lot of them raced at Spartan. I probably could read them all out. With Emma Kirkwood, who's part of Nuts as well. Laura Haywood, if she continues to race. We've got Ellie Birmingham, Cheryl Beach, who did really well at Spartan the other day. Susan Jarman, Shelley Tompkins, excellent at breaks, as you remember me saying. Pip Rainbow, Lindsay Carino, Rachel Fisher was also raced quite a lot recently. Shyla Duhaney, she's been doing a lot more recently, increasingly appearing on the results list, so that's exciting. Megan Tranter as well, with the age group in Spartan recently on the podium. Rosella Bianchi, Megan Ballum, who trains there pretty much every weekend. Kerry White, Wendy Brothers, Josie Lloyd. I haven't seen her race at Nuclear before, so I'm very excited to see that. I think she's been down a couple of training sessions, but not a lot. Tamar Barkley, now she is really gunning for it. I'm excited. She was really close last year to Fede and me as well in the Challenge Cup before. And now she's had a bit more of a taste for kind of the competition. And she's been training there every week. So she's, got some of those rigs down, even if they are changed last minute, So very excited to see her. Liz Luck, Claire Bancroft also trains there regularly. Kim Warren, Claire Rosser, very familiar with racing at Nuclear. Louise Ferriman's done quite a few races there now as well. Libby Joyce has managed to kind of join in with us last year, I think. Federica, I think, out of the kind of the Nuclear girls, like Nikki, Kate, me, we've all won Rush or Challenge Cup before or multiple times, and Fede is the only one that hasn't, I think. Maybe won a Sunday race once. So I think she's been looking for this is her time, she beat all of us at Spartan. And without Nikki being there as well, and with Fede's increasing obstacle, prowess, training at lots of different places and doing lots of different races, I think she's probably looking for this to be the one, We've got Shirley Pace, Karen Macquarie, who we've seen, she's beat me 2 out of 3 times now this year. So that 11th place or whatever it was last year is probably a thing of the past. Emma McCrea, Nicola Atom, I can't read my writing, Ruth Bassey, me, and we might have a few others stepping in. I don't think Rachel's going to be there, but I think Andrea's looking for a ticket. So hopefully we'll have a pretty solid field. So yeah, there's a couple people who have won before on that list. Kate, is she on there? I can't remember. I have to check. I think she was having a hen do, maybe. So there'll be a couple people who are looking for that sort of open spot almost. Yeah,
it's strong. So I kind of think I know who your first place pick is. But give me your top 3, top 5. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. We'll leave that for a prediction contest, I guess. But come on, who do you think is going to be up there?
Okay. Well, I think Fede is going to be going for the win. I think Tamar will be going for it as well. So I put them in the top 3. Obviously, I will be aiming high. And yeah, I think. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. Karen as well. Karen, Libby and Lou are always running at a similar pace. I think they're all very good at the obstacles
They're
now.
super strong on obstacles.
But those three don't get to as much practice there as me, Tamar, and Fede, and that may help.
Having the home course advantage a little bit on those obstacles is going to play a little bit into your favour. But yeah.
I mean,
everyone there is super strong. So, and it could go any way with the weather and them low rigs.
Yeah, I mean, Laura Hayward's won Challenge Cup in the past. She won the first one.
She's pulled out though.
Yeah,
which is a real shame.
But like what I mean is like lots of people have done well in this in the past. You know, there's a history here and there's opportunity. Yeah. So it could be someone like Pip. You know. Yeah,
Pip's a really, really great obstacler.
Yeah.
You know, and it only takes a few mistakes from anyone at the front, and then the whole pack can be changed. So
yeah, and I mean Josie's running was right up there with the front pack at Spartan. I don't doubt that she's that good at obstacles and probably pretty fast at carries as well. So even if she doesn't make one of them,
she should have really good body placement as well with all the yoga that she does.
Yeah, and they have done I think she has done a couple of training sessions there. And like obviously Wild Forest is open to anyone, and you guys and you know Rumble and Nuts and everyone have been to visit recently. So it is possible to get that advantage a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Chris,
nice
what about your top three ladies, female?
Top three ladies. I'd put almost the same as Becky did, but I do think Becky will probably do really well at this. Her obstacle game is really strong at the moment. Tamar as well, and then I think Lou's going to do quite well. I mean, she is dynamite on obstacles, and she doesn't fatigue. So if people are getting those arms tired, she won't. She's got strong arms, but. Like I say, it could go anywhere else. I do think the home advantage is going to play bigger in this race just because of those fiddly, not the big obstacles, it's just the fiddly ones. You know, I know last year James Burton got a big lead ahead on the first lap because of the home advantage, just on knowing how to get through the obstacles that are a bit weird, like the tunnels and like little things to get over. But yeah,
we shall see.
All right, let's go over to the males. Chris, do you want to just go through a few names?
Yeah, so we got a load of. Well, I think we should go through who's not going first, because there's a few names that are actually off the chart at the moment, which could mean if some people wanted to jump in, there's places that could be made up on the point side. So there's no Gavin Holgraf, there's no Dassos, he's injured himself. There's no Jack Carpenter, Luke De Benedictis is out, and Dan's out as well with injury. So they're all out. So if anyone wants to like make up a few extra places, you know, some of the real big hard hitters aren't going to be there. I don't think Dave Rogers is going to be there either. Tom?
Don't think so.
Tom Twiddle's on the list.
Oh, he is on the list.
I
saw it. And I saw his Instagram. Yeah.
And
I saw his Instagram.
Yeah. So I'll get to him in a bit. But yeah, some of the big hitters aren't going to be there. But I'll go through some of the age group people. There's people like Tony Leary's going to be there, Jason Wright, Dean Johnson. They had a good race at Nuts 3K.
Yeah, nice.
So I think they've got some beef, and they're running really well. What age group are they? 50 to 55?
Yeah.
I think Tony's a bit older, but yeah, those boys I think they're going to have a good battle between each other. You got John Redman. He's been running really strong. Kenny Sams again back out. You know, I think he wants to show himself a bit more after Spartan race. I don't think Spartan was really his cup of tea. So having these obstacles, I think Kenny would really show up a bit. Ryan Ibbotson, he's going to be down, and he is so good down at Nuclear, so good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be up on the top 10 easily.
Yeah, he placed well last year.
Yeah. You got Tom DePlanter. He hasn't been around for a little while. He's got a good chance of doing some good damage. It's good to see him down at races. He's been around since back in the day. Go on, Becky.
Yeah. There's another guy like that, Neal Phipps, who also turned up at Nuts this year in the winter one, who used to race. Remember?
No, I don't know.
Does a bit of triathlon as well. Solid, fit guy. Yeah. Be good to see how it does. Yeah. It's been out for a while, but yeah, similar.
I see Aaron Charity's name's on the list.
Oh, nice.
I know, I love him as well. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude. So it's, we used to battle each other as well. So if he's down, it's going to be a good thing. Liam Mitchell, he's a primal guy. He's been racing extremely well. I've got him down as a bit of a wild card. His running's really good. I think this kind of race is going to be a bit more into his wheelhouse. along with Matt Roberts as well. I think this is going to be slightly a bit more to his wheelhouse. So it's going to be good to see them down it. Finley's going to be down. Alex Young, he knows this course really well. Very, very well. He's going to be good on it. Dean Constable, he's one of our high OCR racers. He's going to be looking for some good points, especially for our team because we haven't got very many. Jake Childs, he's going to be down.
Zach Harper's doing well. Running.
Harper, he's running really, really well.
Yeah,
doing lots of handstands, doing lots of bouldering. Yeah, he's good. I don't think Samuel Clark's going to be down. We're missing him. He doesn't seem to be on the list.
It's not on the list. I've been voice noting his mum recently, so maybe I'll ask her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably the best way.
Just trying to get their head around UKOCR, basically.
Right, cool. So it'd be good if he's down. If he's going to be a good race. Andrew Durrance, he's going to be down. Another strong racer. It's good to see him back. Leo Brimcombe, he's down my way. Good racer as well. Should be making a bit of an impact. And I think that's it for like most of the age group people. And then obviously you got the guys at the top. You got Jason Burgess, Jason Bronnock, Fergal, Mo, Darren, James Burton, a bit injured, but you know he knows nuclear very, very well. Who else? We've got Barry Buchanan, myself. That's a few names off the top of my head that I've got written down.
Wow.
Have you got anybody else?
Yeah, no, it still sounds stacked.
Super stacked.
Yeah,
super stacked.
It's a good opportunity. To get that
Dave Peters is going to be there as well. We love Dave.
A return.
Yeah, it's going to be good. He's always mustered on the obstacles. He's one of the best obstacle people in the country. You know.
Yeah, he can get through that court like he's a bit of a tractor. He can get through the field easy. Yeah, strong legs.
Little legs though. Little legs.
Ramunas. Mentioned Tom, but not properly. But Tom Twiddle is back.
So we see on the things. But is he going to have the obstacle proficiency to get through it? I think he probably will. But
he's strong enough.
You know, he hasn't had an obstacle race this year yet. So first one back, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be stupid not to put him at the top, but I think Mo's going to give him a bit of a run for his money.
Yeah.
And Jason Bronnock and Jason Burgess. Jason.
Chris. Top 3, top 5. Who are you going for?
Oh, it's really difficult. If I was going to do a top, I'll do a top 5. I will say not in any order because I don't know what order it will be. It will depend on who falls off what. But I reckon
no one falls off anything. That's the idea.
I think people will fall off something. It's going to be race all guns, and people are going to want to make moves on the obstacles, and that's when that's it. That's when people make these risks. That's when there's going to be slips and things. Yeah, and that's the good thing about having the penalty system. People are going to want to try and make these risks, and that's when the changes are going to be. But top 5: Tom, Jason, Darren, Mo, Ryan. How many is that? I don't know. I didn't take my shoes and socks off. Yeah, it's going to be close. Hopefully, I'm feeling a little bit better as well. I've been a bit under the weather, but yeah, I think Ryan Ibbotsson's going to be really good. And like I said before, Liam Mitchell, I think he's a bit of a wild card on this one.
Well, I think you've missed one.
Oh, go on. Who have I missed?
Ferg.
Oh, I did miss him. I don't know.
I think so. Where was he in pace wise at Spartan? He was up there, and he ran 2 races, and he trains there every other weekend. And he's fast on the obstacles.
Fast on the obstacles.
And he's got a good racing brain.
And he's too nice.
He's too nice. Oh, damn.
Damn you, Ferg. Yeah. But no, yeah, you're right. You're definitely right, Becky. Yeah, Ferg's going to be.
Imagine if they get a king and queen.
Oh.
I said it, Freddie. Come on.
Becky, what about you? Top 3, top 5?
Tom, Jason, Ferg.
Ooh, straight in there.
Wow, it's just.
I don't know because Jason Bronnock, yeah. So even the other day he said he was a bit rusty on the obstacles. So I'm just thinking he's going to just slip up every now and again. I don't know because he has got the leg speed.
They're not that hard for you guys, surely.
I don't know. They're going to be a bit trickier than you think.
Yeah, and I guess last year, like in Challenge Cup, it was if the weather is bad, and I know we did 2 laps last year, but I failed 2 in total of the 2 laps, and I think only Ramunas was the only other person to fail that few. Like the men did fail more, probably because it was, a high octane race and they were taking risks. I think in the women's race that the threat of the wreck bag carry actually makes you more careful and more successful, but it might be too competitive in the men's race for it to work in that way. So again, it's like personalities and race scenario, and that's why we run the race, right?
That's the beauty of obstacle racing. It's the changeover can just be down to one simple thing. I mean, look at what happened with the 3K when I did that. It's just one step. One step is all it takes.
Yeah,
and it can go anywhere.
I've come first and 11th at Challenge Cup.
Yeah,
anything can happen, guys.
All right, guys, thank you very much for this preview of Nuclear Challenge Cup, which is the second race of the UKOCR series. Sunday, May the 14th. There is still time to register if you haven't already. Just go to Nuclear Races or search Nuclear Races in Google to find it, to go register. I think I'm just looking here, £97 plus a booking fee if you want to join in the fun. Thank you to my two co-hosts. We've got Chris Shipley. You can find him on Instagram at Obstacle Race Dude. Also to Becky Neal. You can find her on Instagram at The Runner Bean UK. As always, well supported by British Obstacle Sports. You can find them at British Obstacle Sports. And if you haven't already and you want to look at the points, you go to BritishObstacleSports.org and you will be able to see the updated points that have been updated from today. You can follow UKOCR at all the social medias, but UKOCR, and on Instagram at UKOCR. You can go to the link tree and you can support us by going to the Patreon, which is a regular monthly donation, or you can buy me a coffee or buy them a beer as it is for a one-off contribution to support the work of UKOCR. My name is Wil Chung. I am the host of Who's Hot. This has been the Who's Hot preview for Nuclear Races, which is the second race of the UKOCR series. We will be back next week with the recap and hopefully see who's hot. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Hi everyone, Alan here, aka Muddy Duck. I don't often jump onto the back of Will's podcast, but I want to jump on this one to give a big shout out to all our patrons. If you don't know what patrons are, Will mentioned it earlier, you can become a patron. Patrons are people who help us produce and publish these podcasts. They help with the overall costs of it, and we've got quite a few. So yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to some of them. So we have got Wil Chung. We have got Michelle Carney, we've got Sophia Hanaday, all the way from America, Matthew Kirk, Martin Gemmell, Paul Ellis, Richard Willis, Gordon Cameron, Charlotte Malone, Daniel Weston, Ben Griffin, Brian Keys, Wendy Brothers, and our latest one, Kevin Dent. Big thank you to each and every one of you for joining. All it costs is a minimum of £2 a month. You can go up to £6 depending on how much you want to pay. Some of the more expensive patrons, they get a little bit extra freebies, but all these podcasts come out early. So if you're listening to this and you thought, well, I wanted to listen to this earlier, this is where you can join our patrons. I mean, like I say, £2 a month, that's all it costs some of you. But a big thank you to each and every one of you. We are almost at a point now where me and Ian don't have to put a lot of our money into this, just the time and the effort. So once again, massive shout out, big thank you to each and every one of you. Let's get back. I think there's only one blooper on this episode. Let's get back to the blooper and we'll speak to you on the Swift Hour shortly.
And we have our... there we go.
The one and only.
And